Imagine walking into a building you built, only to be told you no longer belong by the very people who used to serve your coffee. Now imagine walking out, cool as ice, and returning 5 minutes later with the power to fire every single one of them. This is the story of a brilliant Black CEO humiliated at her own bank until the tables turned in a way no one saw coming. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit subscribe for more shocking, powerful stories that expose truth, justice, and sweet revenge. Let's get into it. It was supposed to be a routine morning. Cassandra Miles, sharp as ever in her gray power suit, stepped out of her black Tesla and into the sunlit plaza of Titan Trust Bank, the very institution she'd transformed from a second-tier regional bank into a global financial powerhouse in under 5 years. Her heels clicked with purpose across the marble floor of the lobby as she nodded at the concierge. But something was off. The familiar warmth had been replaced by cold stares, whispers, and a silence that roared louder than any protest. As she approached the private elevator to her executive suite on the 52nd floor, 2 unfamiliar security guards stepped into her path. "Ma'am," one of them said, with false courtesy oozing through his teeth, "I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. You're not authorized to be here." She blinked once, then twice, assuming it was a terrible joke. "Excuse me? By order of the board, your access has been revoked," the second guard added. Voice flat, no empathy, no room for negotiation. Around them, staff gathered, junior analysts, tellers, assistants, some frozen in place, others pretending to look away. "I am the board," she said coolly. "This is my building." But no matter how many times she repeated her title, chief executive officer, founder, chairwoman, it didn't matter. The guards physically escorted her to the doors as her former assistant cried silently from behind the glass walls. News spread like wildfire across social media. Black female CEO removed from Titan Trust HQ. In real time, the world was watching. What they didn't know was that Cassandra wasn't finished. Not even what the public didn't know, what the board didn't know, was that Cassandra had already been 3 steps ahead. This wasn't just a sudden betrayal. She'd sensed it coming. Over the past few months, there'd been strange emails, subtle changes in policy, and unannounced meetings she'd been excluded from. Whispers from her legal team confirmed it. A coup. Led by Vice Chairman Robert Halverson, an old money executive with generational ties to Wall Street. The plot had been brewing for nearly a year. Cassandra, though young and black, had made Titan Trust too powerful, too independent. They hated that she turned a failing, conservative institution into a modern, tech-driven, female-led empire. So they waited for the moment she'd make one bad quarter. It didn't even matter that it was due to a market crash. They framed her as incompetent. But Cassandra had a weapon no one expected: leverage. Months prior, she'd quietly acquired 17% of Titan Trust's shares through a complex network of shell holdings, trusts, and partnerships. She'd also formed a silent alliance with Nadia Yilmaz, a Turkish-American fintech billionaire who owed Cassandra a favor after Cassandra had saved her from bankruptcy years before. As the bank tried to erase her name, Cassandra was finalizing a countermove, a hostile takeover of Titan Trust's holding company, using private equity and activist investors to oust the corrupt board. And the best part? The final signatures were done 5 minutes after she was kicked out. When Cassandra stepped back into the bank just 5 minutes later, yes, literally 5, there was a new fire in her eyes. She was flanked by 2 lawyers in designer suits and a security detail of her own. The moment the front doors parted, every eye turned toward her. "This is a private property," the same guard began, but Cassandra cut him off. "Correction," she said. "This is my property." Again, she handed him a thick folder stamped with legal authority. Effective immediately by majority shareholder control and emergency board vote. The former board of directors is terminated. Permanently. Gasps filled the air. Phones came out. Everyone was filming. One by one, Cassandra marched to each executive office. Robert Halverson was the last to be notified. He tried to bluster, to rage, to threaten lawsuits. "You don't have the power." "I have all of it," she said calmly, sliding the official stock acquisition agreement across the table. "You underestimated me, Robert. That's your last mistake." Cameras caught the moment as security escorted him out, a poetic mirror of her own removal. The same guards who had thrown her out now took orders from her. Her assistant burst into tears of joy as Cassandra walked back into her corner office, the skyline blazing behind her like a crown. Reporters were already outside. "How does it feel to be back?" One yelled. Cassandra turned and smiled. "I never left. I was just giving them enough rope to hang themselves." The footage went viral within hours. CNN, BBC, YouTube, TikTok was everywhere. Black excellence. Corporate revenge. Feminist icon. Cassandra Miles became a household within weeks. Cassandra rolled out sweeping reforms. Every junior employee who had been marginalized under the old board received raises and promotions. A diversity council was installed. Gender parity at executive levels became mandatory. She hired from HBCUs, launched financial literacy programs for underserved communities, and partnered with schools in marginalized neighborhoods to create pipelines for future Black leaders in finance. And she didn't stop there. She launched Miles Capital Ventures, a new fund under Titan Trust, dedicated solely to supporting Black and brown entrepreneurs, single mothers, immigrant founders, and those rejected by the very system she once fought. To change, her story became a case study at Harvard Business School. Netflix announced a biopic. And every time she walked into that same building, heels clicking, head high, the staff rose to their feet in respect. One day, while being interviewed by Forbes, Cassandra was asked, "What would you say to women of color who feel like the odds are stacked against them?" Her answer was simple. "Let them doubt you. Let them laugh. Let them kick you out. Then come back, ... and take the whole building." Today, Cassandra Miles is worth over $4.7 billion. But her greatest wealth lies in what she represents: resilience, brilliance, and the power of rising from your own ashes.